How's everybody doing? This is Kyle here from KyleKraft. Welcome back to another KyleKraft video. It's not a normal one for you this time. Now, you all don't normally see me build in the modern style of building. Now, when I started playing Minecraft, that's actually the top style that I always used to build in. I love it, love modern architecture in real life, and love what you can do with it in Minecraft. Now, the reason I don't do many modern style videos on this channel is because it's a lot tougher to do. There's a lot more creativity and design involved. It's kind of specific to the individual creating the piece, and it's pretty hard to solidify and define for every build. Now, you know my wood survival friendly style of building. Those are pretty simple, those are pretty basic. You can always kind of structure them up in a good way. The modern architecture, that's a bit different. Each one is unique, and each one takes, well, a lot more design and creativity, as I mentioned, to really turn into a great looking build. But with that, I've seen a lot of popular modern builds in the Minecraft community on YouTube lately, so I wanted to, get involved. I love the modern style. I had to go ahead and create a modern house video. So if you like what you see with the build and you do end up enjoying this video, make sure to let me know in the comments to do more. But let's talk about building this house. Now, I still wanted to do the time-lapse talk style of video for this one, but it might be smarter to do block by block tutorials for houses like this, and specific houses in the future. But what I do with a modern house is I start with one piece. I want to get a shape kind of formed straight away, and then move in a different direction throughout the build as it flows and where it takes. See, straight away this is just a bunch of concept design talk. I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but hopefully it does. There's a lot of design elements and I'll try and cover them. So what I really do is I start with the white pieces. I use quartz for a lot of modern houses. It's specific on the style, but this quartz, two texture wooden quartz style is, it's a common one in the Minecraft community. What isn't as common is the shape and style I like to work into my modern houses. I always start with the white. I start by outlining the white areas with the quartz, kind of get those in place, balance them out, because you got to have that white balance straight away. Then you can add the accent detailed colored pieces, like the wood, like the stone bricks that you'll see me add in throughout this build. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm experimenting with the different levels and layers. Big thing with modern architecture is the levels, is the shapes that you build into the structure. You can create these lines within the build that look like art rather than just a house. So that's what I did right here. Make sure to notice the different lines, the different layers, the different sub areas that I created and built up. Textures do not make contact with one another. That's another thing I focus on in my modern builds. So look at the different separation and platforms I created. We use those slabs to give it that rise right above the white, so notice that too. And then we'll work out these shapes and designs in the back, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to get these tricky spots in modern architecture, and that's what I definitely had trouble with right here. You'll watch it come to life. I worked in this dark oak wall and connected it up right there, but then wasn't positive what to do with this back area. Balance is very key in modern architecture. I just talked about the lines and shape you build into these projects. Well, you don't want to overdo it with too many lines, too many different shapes. It's all about finding that balance between simplicity and shape. Design, the direction you decide to take the build. So let me talk a little bit more specifically about this house, and we'll walk through the house right after this time lapse so we can talk about it even more. But the key to this back wall was extending that roof all the way over. The flat rectangular roof extending across, and then we have those different cutouts in the roof to bring in some light on those different areas. Now you'll see here, you see that back dark oak wall with the wood? We have to center this 3-block dark oak wall that we just placed in to actually make it look good. That was the key. We had to get that centered. You want to make it structurally sound, make sense, and all adapt together, and that's what we went for. Now I added in stone bricks for the floor and made a pathway straight away. You know I love doing organic style of builds, but for these pathways you want to keep them pretty square, pretty straight, perpendicular into the door as you see it right there. Now again, this time-lapse talk of the build has been pretty conceptual, so we're going to walk through the build. We're going to talk about some of the specific aspects of this house so you can build it in just a minute, so don't worry about that. You also see now I'm tying in some green, adding some bushes. Don't be afraid to have them hang over that white side, just like I did on the left there. And then of course you need some trees, different foliage. I tried to make a custom tree, once again failed on a custom tree, so I just went back to the spruce, the oak. You can tie them in. It's important to balance out the trees as well. There's a lot of thought that goes into that. And then you'll see I added in that glass, which was the final touch and key detail to this house. Brought it together and wrapped it up into an incredible looking modern house. Beautiful looking modern house, that was the goal. Now I do want to walk through the build and establish some key details and aspects of modern building and this modern house. I actually just did this once, it took 30 minutes and I forgot to turn my mic on, so I'm slightly crushed right now. But it's okay, I rambled a ton in that one, as you know I always do, so we'll try and keep it a little bit more concise this time. Looking sharp, the modern house. One of the key details you'll notice straight away, of course, is the different layering in the white. Now I mentioned this in the time-lapse talk, but make sure you get those white lines set in first, so that's the number one thing your eye attracts to in this house. Balance out those different lines. Make sure they're skewed but look sweet and all adapt together as you move throughout the house. Alright, now this specific house. Now going off those lines, look at this line right here. It runs all the way across, down through the back, running through, looped around right here, and closes out right here. That's where it closed. But look at this one. Extends out of the ground, runs across, then extends up into the house. That line that we just traced, and the other line that ran back around and looped up right here, are the two pillars and structures of this front wall. That's important. That's key for me in modern architecture in Minecraft. You want to play with those lines and turn them into the structure of the house. And then from there, you can accent in these different colors, like the wood, at different points to make the structure, actually a house that you can live in. And then you can pull off these offshoots to bring in more design, detail, and make the build look incredible, like we did with these. And again on that far side right there. Takes a lot of creativity and design to make a good looking modern house because it's honestly more a piece of artwork than it is just a house. Which is why they're a ton of fun to do, but also difficult to do. So that's just something to keep in mind. Back to this specific house, I'll try and give some rough dimensions as I walk through just in case you want to build it. This right here is 5 blocks across. You can see it, you can judge it if you want to take screenshots. From here it's 7 blocks, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 6 wide over here. This right here runs across for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then extends all the way back across to that far side. You have this different gap right here, and you can take a screenshot of this if you want it. You can count those blocks off the quartz. This wall right here was a challenge. It took a while to get it right. You will have noticed I just mentioned that wall right there. Oh, great. That one right there is 5 across. So we centered this 3 blocks right here so that the structure of the house made sense. Always got to make it structurally sound. But it also brought in different elements that we could work off, have different extensions. That's 1 block. That's 2 blocks. You know what I'm talking about? And then we even this out right on the center of that 3 blocks. It all makes sense. But we can also did I just say wah? We can work in some different balance, some different design into the shape. So what I'm really trying to say is make sure you line up things even in the modern style of building. Have those pillars line up, have that 3 block center on that back wall, pillars line up over here. It's got to make sense. And that adapts and appeals to the eye for the actual design. Again, modern houses are art, in Minecraft too. So that's what we did with this house. That's why that wall took a lot of time to work out. We want to make sure every single angle of the house looks good. A lot of people like to focus on just the money shot angle view of the house. I like to make sure every single view of the house is incredible. Not just the money shots, but every angle of the house as you move around it. So spend time working out those structures so they're balanced and looking incredible. But of course, structural decisions can be creative and intended for that purpose, like these pillars. Skewed out because I wanted to slope in on that side so that this was a bit tighter over here, smaller out front, and stretch a bit more mass through the back over there. See, this is why modern architecture is tough. A lot goes into it. Another important detail, the bushes. You want to add some green into the build. You can put some on the rooftop. Corellis always used to do that. I always used to love that. But don't feel like you have to. You should break up this roof though, so it's not one huge square rectangle of quartz. Break out these squares, center them on different pillars. You can see it centered on all these pillars right here to give it that awesome appeal, and centered on this 2 block right here. It looks really sweet, and it brings some light onto that different area. Ties it all together. Look at that square rather than being flat. Just looks sweet. Now I do love modern architecture. I worked with it outside of just Minecraft, so that's why I do like to work around with it in Minecraft, but again, it's tough. Its design is conceptual. Let me know what you think of this video, the house, the build, down in the comments below. This video was testing the waters a bit. I have no idea how you and the rest of the KyleKraft community will feel about modern style houses being on the KyleKraft channel, but I can try and teach you further. I love building in it if you do want to see more modern houses. Of course, alongside the KyleKraft survival-friendly wood texture building that I normally do. Why is this sheep gotta walk in? See, it completely throws off the view of the house. It's not gonna happen. We're not doing that. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Leave a rating, dislike, like, whatever you felt about this video so I know what to do with it in the future. I'm posting pictures of this house in the default lighting on my Twitter if you want to see that. I love the shaders. Did this video in the shaders, but some people like the default. Now the cow's in the way. Some people like the default. I can promise you it looks good in that way because we're following the same design elements of modern building that I always go for. Looks sharp in default. So if you do want to see that, head over to Twitter, check it out. Make sure to follow me and send me pictures of your modern houses. I love interacting on Twitter. But other than that, that's the modern house. That's how we build it. I love looking at it. It looks sharp, beautiful. That's the goal. But that's it for this one. Thanks for coming.